Hello there. It has been said that the architects of the EU knew that to build a full, united, single federal state called the European Union, they would have to do it bit by bit and by stealth, and one recent revelation appears to back that up. Now, you may be wondering why I'm talking about the EU and education since the UK is now leaving. But as there are still machinations going on in the background to keep us in the EU, I thought it prudent to let you know where the EU is going before you allow yourselves to be sucked back in at some future date. First, a bit of history. The former president of the High Authority of the European Coal and Steel Community, Jean Monnet, has been called the Father of Europe due to the key part he played in setting up the system that has morphed into the EU as we know today. And although disputed, it is claimed that he wrote the following words in a letter to a friend in 1952. Europe's nations should be guided towards the superstate without their people understanding what is happening. This can be accomplished by successive steps, each disguised as having an economic purpose, but which will eventually and irreversibly lead to federation. Now, I've been told by Remainers that this is just a bit of history, and even if he did write those words, it is unimportant to us today. But having seen the latest output from the EU on education, I would say, whether Monnet said those words or not, they ring resoundingly true today. In a communication 2 days ago, the EU Commission lays out its education vision in a document called Strengthening European Identity Through Education and Culture. Here's what the EU Commission President, Jean-Claude Juncker, said about education that day. Education and culture are the key to the future, both for the individual as well as for our union as a whole. It is how we turn circumstance into opportunity, how we turn mirrors into windows, and how we give roots to what it means to be European in all its diversity. Here's some more. This communication sets out the vision of a European education area, building on the New Skills Agenda for Europe and the Investing in Europe's Youth initiatives. Education is part of the solution to get more people into decent jobs, respond better to the economy's skills needs, and strengthen Europe's resilience in a context of the rapid and profound changes induced by the technological revolution and globalisation. And how about, it is therefore in the shared interest of all member states to harness the full potential of education and culture as drivers for jobs, social fairness, active citizenship, as well as a means to experience European identity in all its diversity. Throughout the document, the central theme is all about the intertwining of prosperity through a European identity using a so-called shared European agenda on education and culture. It also talks about the problems caused by not having common qualifications across EU member states. Oh, there are fine words about teaching, languages, diversity, equality and mobility, but the central theme running throughout is this concept of European identity being important for prosperity. Here's another example. Under the heading Strengthening the Sense of European Identity and Awareness of Cultural Heritage, we find the following. The 2018 European Year of Cultural Heritage will be an opportunity to increase awareness of the importance of culture and cultural heritage and, in particular, to recall that cultural heritage belongs to all. And here's the bit. It will also be the moment to highlight the strong economic role that cultural heritage plays. I don't care how this is dressed up. This is an EU-wide education system to indoctrinate the children and grandchildren of the EU into having a European identity as part of a greater EU state and convincing them that this European identity is the key to economic success. Did you also know that there is an official European culture website called Europeana Collections, which is quoted within their education vision? Europeana places all culture within a European framework with no direct reference to nation states. And its mission is, we transform the world with culture. We want to build on Europe's rich heritage and make it easier for people to use, whether for work, for learning, or just for fun. The collections are as follows: 1914 to 1918, art, fashion, maps and geography, migration, music, natural history, photography, sport. I'll leave you to work out what is missing from that list and why it is structured in the way that it is. And now, whether you be Leaver or Remainer, I have a couple of questions. Have you seen this talked about on any of the mainstream media? Where else have you actually heard this? Has any of this been talked about by any of our politicians? Have the Remainers told us all about it as something for us to consider before they try and reverse the will of the people? When was this debated in the Houses of Commons and Lords? And more to the point, I wonder how many citizens from the other 27 member states have heard about this. With all that I've just said, I'm going to repeat the words that Monet is said to have written. Europe's nations should be guided towards the superstate without their people understanding what is happening. This can be accomplished by successive steps, each disguised as having an economic purpose, but which will eventually and irreversibly lead to federation. Can you see a parallel here? I can. Please leave a comment below. Thank you. Please do like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. Thank you very much for watching.